Assalamu alaikum, people. We are going to get our Insta people on real quick. Alrighty. Okay, so we are going to add our Insta cousins to our live. I want to start adding Insta cousins first because it's been a few minutes. All right. Insta Cousins is with us. Assalamu alaikum. It is I, Mubaraka, and I am simulcasting today because I got some new equipment I thought I'd play with. So if you are just joining me or you are wondering, what are we talking about today? Today, we are talking about sugar. And how much is too much? You know, I'm constantly preaching about cutting sugar out your diet, at the very least, reducing it out of your diet. But today, we are going to talk about what the FDA, the federal government, actually recommends in terms of sugar and what does that actually look like in our diet. If you are just joining us, my name is Mubaraka Ibrahim and I am your health and happiness coach. If you have never joined us before, then welcome, 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 because if you believe that physical, mental, and spiritual well-being is intertwined and the weakness of one weakens them all and the strengthening of one strengthens them all, then welcome. You have found your tribe. We talk about food, faith, and fitness here on the Fit Muslimah profile. And today we are diving into sugar and added sugar and what does that mean inside of our diet. So one of the things that was recently come out is the new FDA guidelines recently, which is in the last few months, right? And here is some interesting news. So the interesting news about the FDA guidelines is the fact that there was a group of scientists that got together that made some recommendations on how the guidelines should change a little bit. And they took some of them and left some of them because they took also some industry advice. So let's talk about that a little bit. Tell me where you are joining me from, because you know that I absolutely love seeing that here on the internet, we are so much closer together. And let me know where you're joining. I am joining you from the United States of America here in Connecticut. And it is actually quite a lovely day today, comparatively to a couple of weeks ago. So spring is trying to peep its head out, all right? All right, salams, Camila and Rathia, assalamu alaikum. Thank you for joining me. I am glad you are watching. Awesome, that's right. Get the family, get the kids, come join us. Assalamu alaikum. Safar from Fairfax, Virginia. My little Lormi on Instagram from DC, Kentucky, Doha, Nigeria. Wow, we love it. New Jersey, Ohio, Indianapolis, sunny California. Yes. If you didn't have so much corona there, I would be coming, but I gotta wait for a minute. I'm trying to find somewhere sunny to go. So get your COVID under control so I can come to California. But don't open up like Texas just because. Get it under control first. Just saying. Canada, assalamu alaikum. London, England, Holland, Columbus. Oh, wow. We are all the Netherlands over on Instagram. Good morning. Cleveland is on day 1 of sugar detox. All right. Awesome. If you have not grabbed my sugar detox guide, then you can go to 10daysugarrehab.com. The number 10, day, sugarrehab.com, and you can grab a guide so that you can detox yourself off of sugar. Inside of this guide, I have over a dozen different aliases that they put inside of our ingredients to try to hide the fact that there's sugar in there. I give you a list of foods. There's green foods, which means eat them in abundance. There's yellow foods, kind of limit those. And then there's red foods, the things that you should cut out for 10 days. So go grab the 10-day sugar detox. But let's talk about sugar and what it does, right? So we know that we need to decrease sugar, right? Everybody knows that. But what I think that a lot of people don't know is even when you think that you're not eating that much sugar, you might actually still be eating higher than the recommended amount. Now, here in the United States, every year, or every couple of years, the FDA, the Food and Drug Administration, which is they give nutritional recommendations, right? Not always for the best health, but kind of like in between of what people should do and what they're actually going to do and what the industry wants them to do. It's a big mess. But anyway, we'll just go with that for a lack of a better source for now, right? So the Food and Drug Administration released its guidelines for sugar, and they did a couple of things which was really interesting. Number one, they've changed the guidelines for children, all right? So one of the guidelines that was changed was the fact that the FDA now says kids under 2 should have no added sugar. Zero, zilch, zero, none. So if you have a 1-year-old and you are treating them and giving them a reward by giving them a lollipop, FDA says, no, don't do it. If you have a 9-month-old and you are buying them Cheerios so that they can practice their small pincher skills and hand-to-mouth coordination, don't get the Honey Nut Cheerios, get the plain Cheerios. FDA says no sugar for kids under 2. Zero, zilch. That 1-year-old birthday party that you're going to have, and you had this idea of creating a Dora the Explorer cake and letting that 1-year-old dig in, FDA says, no, 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 don't do it. It's not good for them. You should have no sugar for kids under 2 years old. Second thing, they recommend that kids over 2 have no more than 6 teaspoons a day. And that's actually pretty low. 6 teaspoons a day. Let's break that down. All right. So when you're talking about 6 teaspoons a day, you're talking about the average slice of bread has about 3 grams of added sugar to it. So that is actually going to give them, if they have a sandwich, that's going to give them about 2-3 teaspoons in itself, right? So you're going to really want to start looking at things. Added sugar. A soda can have as much as 50 grams of sugar. Way exceeds the amount of sugar that kids should have. Now let's talk about adults here. One of the problems that we have as adults is that we too eat way too much sugar. Now we want to keep these guidelines for kids so they don't turn into adults that's addicted to sugar, right? We want to not give them the addiction. So important that you watch that sugar for kids. But where do you need to watch? So first of all, we are talking about added sugar. So I'm going to bring it all the way back. We're not talking about following my ketogenic plan. We're not talking about completely eliminating sugar. We're talking about how much sugar should you be having on a daily basis, just based on eating regular and moderating your foods, and on a normal regular day. even if you're not following keto. Obviously, if you're following the ketogenic plan, the answer is zero, zilch, nada, nothing, right? Because we know that sugar is actually directly linked, added sugar is directly linked to obesity. So the interesting thing about obesity studies is that there is a lot of different philosophies among scientists, researchers, and doctors as to what is the actual cause of our obesity epidemic, right? Some people say that it's a public health issue because of environment. Some people say that it has to do with epigenetics. Some people say that it has to do with the food we eat. Some people blame it on it's not the food, it's the fact that we are so sedentary. But with all of the scientists, there is only one thing that links everybody that everybody can agree with. Right? So if you put a whole bunch of scientists and researchers in a room and they all start going back of like, what is the main source of our obesity epidemic? They may all have different philosophies, but one string attaches all of them that everybody agrees on. And that is consuming added sugar. The amount that you consume is directly linked to obesity. So that's really important. So if weight loss is one of your concerns, the first thing, and probably the easiest of all of the ways in which you can change your diet, is reducing the amount of sugar. But if weight loss is not an issue for you, maybe you're one of those people who don't really gain that much weight. That doesn't mean that you don't have to pay attention to the amount of sugar that you eat, because it's directly attached to your health. So we know, for example, if you have inflammatory conditions like arthritis and gout, right? Gout is an inflammatory condition that creates pain inside of your joints. Consuming sugar actually increases uric acid, which contributes to the pain of gout. So even if you're like, you know what, I'm not worried about my weight, but my gout flares up here and there, you want to reduce sugar. We know that sugar is directly related to certain types of cancers. Now, when they look at how much sugar people consume and their rate of getting certain cancers, it is directly correlated. The more sugar they consume was directly related to certain types of cancer. And the interesting thing is those types of cancer are actually cancers that we see very commonly, but we don't associate them with sugar, right? So a study of 430,000 people found that added sugar consumption was positively associated with an increased risk of esophageal cancer and cancer of the small intestines. That is things that we see often, and we think, oh, it's esophageal cancer. Was that person a smoker? No, you don't have to smoke cigarettes in order for you to get cancer of the esophagus. You can just be one of those people that drunk 5 sodas a day for 20 years. It can actually increase your risk of that type of cancer. Another study showed that women who consumed sweet buns and cookies more than 3 times a week were 1.42 times more likely to develop endometrial cancer than women who consumed those products less than 0.5 times a week. So more cookies and sweet buns means that you can actually increase endometrial cancer. That stuff is really important for you to know. So again, we look at certain cancers and we go with kind of like this idea and this myth is, oh, it must run in my family. Oh, she must have a genetic propensity to it. This person must have smoked, or they must have drunk alcohol, or right? We have all of these assumptions about kind of the worst way in which people can get cancers, but it can actually be associated with not just the worst things that you can eat, but the things that you didn't think that was going to have that much effect on you. Now, we know that sugar is directly related to diabetes because when you consume sugar, you're going to increase your insulin level. And then when you constantly increase your insulin level, you develop insulin resistance, which is diabetes. So I think that most people probably put those two things together. But the other thing, which we often associate with being quite extreme, right, is fatty liver disease. We will say, well, if somebody has a problem with their liver, then they must be drinking alcohol. No, not necessarily. Right? This is something that people who don't drink has never drunk in their life, and they go to the doctor and the doctor find out that they have fatty liver disease, right? It's really interesting because it was so associated with alcohol consumption that when people would go to the doctor and the doctor would say, well, you have fatty liver disease. And they would say, but I don't drink. The doctor would actually not believe them, think that they were lying, and they snuck and drunk alcohol. But then they discovered that there is something that's called non-alcoholic fatty liver disease. And that actually is associated with the consumption of sugar. Another study of 5,900 adults showed that people who drank sugar-sweetened beverages daily had a 56% higher risk of developing non-alcoholic fatty liver disease compared to people who did not. So this isn't just about weight. This is about health. So how much sugar, if you're one of those people who say, well, I eat pretty healthy, what are we talking about when we talk about added sugar? So for our purposes today, we are talking about sugar, which is added to a product that does not occur naturally. We're talking about when you put sugar into your, white sugar, and it doesn't matter if it's white, if it's brown, if it's honey, if it's coconut sugar, if you're adding it to something, it is added sugar. So if you are, for example, look at your bread. If you look at your bread has added sugar. It has added sugar because generally it is a yeast bread, and yeast requires sugar in order for it to rise. And so it is adding sugar to the bread. That's added sugar. But added sugar can be in a lot of places which you don't really know. So first, let's talk about what is the recommended amount of sugar. We know that most U.S. adults, women and men, eat up to 5 times as much as the recommended amount, even if you don't add sugar to your coffee, right? So nobody get on their high horse because we all have to watch this. We all have to watch this, right? So when you're talking about added sugar, the recommended amount for women and men is 10% of their daily amount. Side note, the same researchers and scientists that gave the recommendation to the FDA about kids needing to, under 2 needed to eliminate sugar, and kids need to reduce sugar in their diet. The FDA said, okay, that's a great idea. Let's do that for our kids' health. But the same group of scientists also said, we need to recommend that adults decrease their sugar intake. And then the sugar industry said, hold on for a second. Let me talk to you for a minute, FDA. Come here. Come into my office. Let me talk to you about something. And they went and talked to them. FDA was like, nah, adults is fine. Take personal responsibility. So the researchers, the scientists recommended that U.S. adults decrease their sugar intake to 6%, right? The World Health Organization would actually like everybody to implement a recommendation of 5% by, I believe, the year 2024. But that's just a side note. FDA was like, nah, that might affect the industry's business a little bit too much. So we're going to keep the adult recommendation for 10%. All right. So we're going to talk about the 10% today. What is the 10%? This is based on someone who is eating 2,000 calories a day, which for most people is too many calories. But again, we're going to put that aside. That's another story, right? Most people are sitting at their desk every day. And unless you weigh 300 pounds, then you probably don't need to be eating 2,000 calories a day. Side note. I'll talk about recommendations, that kind of stuff later. All right. So for women, with this 10% in mind, we're not going to go with the 6%, even though we should, right? But we're going to stick with the FDA's 10%. 10% for women is about 24 grams of sugar or 6 teaspoons, right? For men, it is 9 teaspoons or 36 grams, right? Men tend to eat more. They tend to be physically bigger. We're talking on average. I know you're going to say, oh, there's women that's bigger than men. Well, I'm not going to get into a gender debate. So that is the recommendation. So what does that look like? 24 grams. If you have pasta sauce in your house that you've purchased from the store, one serving generally has around 13 grams of added sugar, right? If you're eating non-fat yogurt because you think that it's healthy, because it has probiotics, even with the probiotics and the removing of the fat, they gotta make it taste good. So if you flip it around, you will find that it can have as many as 20 grams of sugar. The same thing with granola, right? All of these things are advertised as healthy, but when you look at the amount of sugar in them, this is not sugar that naturally comes in the product. This is not sugar. So we're not even talking about fruit, right? I want you to put that aside because everybody always says this when I talk about sugar and removing sugar from your diet. Well, what about fruit? We're not even talking about fruit today. We'll talk about that on another day. We're just talking about things that we eat on a regular basis that we think is healthy, but it has added sugar to it because generally, I'm not concerned about the person who's eating strawberries, right? I'm not concerned about the person that's having a full orange in the morning, right? These habits are not how you become overweight. These habits are not how you develop disease. No one ever became obese because I just eat strawberries all day. It's the other stuff in your diet that actually leads to the obesity. So here is a day in which you can triple your sugar intake. So remember, and I'm going to actually write this down as we go. Let's just say, as a woman, we know we're supposed to have 24 grams of added sugars a day. But in the morning, I decided that, you know what? I'm going to be super healthy today, and I'm going to have a probiotic fat-free yogurt, and I'm going to add just a 1/4 cup of granola on top. And because Mubaraka said it's okay to have fruit, I'm going to just throw some strawberries and blueberries on top. Yummy. I'm on my way to being healthy. Woohoo! Now, let's look at the added sugars. If your yogurt has 20 grams, and mind you, you're only supposed to have 24 grams for the entire day, and your granola has another 15 grams, because if you're buying granola out the store, they are adding sugar to it. So now you're at 35 grams of sugar. And you haven't even gotten out of your door. I'm going to not go and get a Frappuccino because, again, I'm on my health kick. right? I'm on my health kick. I am not going to go to Dunkin' Donuts. I'm not getting a Frappuccino. I am actually going to I'm going to make my own coffee at home because, that's much better. And I'm going to add a couple of teaspoons of sugar, just 2. And it's going to be brown sugar, so that has to be healthier, right? So a teaspoon of sugar has, I believe, 5 grams. So now we've added another 10 grams of added sugar to our day. We are at 45 grams. Mind you, we're not supposed to have more than 24 grams of sugar. We're going to go about our day, and for lunch, I think what I'll do is I will bring my own lunch, and it will be just a couple of slices of bread. Matter of fact, you know what? I'm going to skip the bread because Mubaraka is always talking about bread not being the best thing. So what I think that I'm going to have, what do we think we're going to have that's nice and healthy for lunch? I think I'll have me a big salad, right? Low carb, delicious. I love salad. I'm going to add some salmon on it. All of those really good omega-3s that Mubaraka is always telling me that I need to eat. So we're going to have some salmon, and that protein is going to give me a boost. And I'm going to add some salad dressing to that. Salad dressing has about another 13 grams of added sugar. French dressing. Let's go with French. All right. So now we are at 58 grams of sugar. I had a long day. I don't have time to make some 5-course meal for my family. So the easiest thing for me to make, and it is going to be nice and healthy and delicious, is we're just going to make some pasta, right? We're going to have some pasta and some pasta sauce. And I'll make some broccoli on the side. It's going to be good. I'll throw a little bit of, ground turkey in it. I got everything. I got my vegetables. I got my protein. I got a little bit of carbs, right? It's whole wheat pasta. I'm doing good, right? I'm still on my health kick. I'm eating healthy. Pasta sauce, another 13 grams, right? So now we have had 71 grams of added sugar in our day. But we had no cookies. Yay, us. We skipped the Dunkin' Donuts Frappuccino. Yay, us. Right? We actually had really healthy lunch, salad, and some salmon. Yay, us. It's okay. I had whole wheat pasta. Yay, us. But we're still at 71 grams of added sugar when the recommendation is 24 grams of added sugar. See how easily that adds up? So even if you're not eating bread, even if you are doing what you think that you may be taking steps to be healthier, you're cutting out all of the obvious things. We have to pay attention to the added sugar. You have to eat simply. Think about your food as, if I lived on a farm, could I grow it? Could I raise it? Could I make it? Right? And sometimes it's not about going on an extreme, I'm never eating this kind of stuff ever again. If you change your diet in a way where you're being conscious, right? We could literally have taken, 35 grams out if we only had an egg and an avocado for breakfast instead of that granola and yogurt, right? Making those types of changes can have a huge impact on what you're doing in terms of how much added sugar you're eating on a daily basis. Sugar is directly related to obesity, added sugar. And again, I'm not having a conversation today about using eating fruit or, all of these things. People don't get overweight, obese, heart disease from eating fruit. That's not your problem. Your problem is the added sugar. So focus on the problem. That's where you start. So, other problems with added sugar is, as we are constantly talking about, it is increasing that insulin. It also creates leptin resistance. Remember when I talk about how insulin is a domino hormone, and weight loss and weight gain is not about the amount of calories that you're taking in. It is an imbalance of hormones that's causing metabolic disease. Obesity is a metabolic disease. It is not a math problem. You're not overweight because you're eating too many calories. You're overweight because of the imbalance of hormones that is preventing your body from releasing fat. Really, really important for us to understand that. We have to prevent our kids from getting here by taking the sugar out of their diet. We have to cure ourselves, and you have the ability to cure yourself with your diet, with how you're moving. Take responsibility for how you're eating and how you're moving so that you can heal yourself. That is my message to people. My goal is to educate you on how movement and food affects you on a physiological level so that you can feel empowered to take control of your health. And you don't have to depend on a medication, and don't have to depend on what the doctor is telling you. And you don't have to put your life in someone else's hands. Take your life and your health in your own hands. All right? I'm going to get off of my soapbox just for today. But I'm going to give you a giveaway because it's my birthday month. It's my birthday month. It's March. So yesterday, I told you the name of my brother, Rahimahullah, who would have been 3 years older than me today. Not today, but now. But he passed away. All right. What was his name? Does anybody remember? For a chance to win my Burn Baby Burn supplement. It is a green tea supplement, and it has 260 milligrams of green tea with 75% catechins. Janine, yes, she was the first person who answered. Janine, oh, wait a minute, I'm not sure. Was it Janine or was it Rosita? Hey, I'll send you both of them. All right. Janine was the first person to answer on Facebook. Rosita 101 was the first person to answer on Instagram. Jalal, his name was Jalal Rahimahullah. Thank you for remembering. Send me your address on a DM and I will get this out to you tomorrow. All right. It is the Burn Baby Burn supplement. If you would like to go and grab the supplement, you can go to shopfitmuslimah.com. All right. Shopfitmuslimah.com. And if you enter the code Happy Birthday, you're going to get 10% off of your order of $30 or more. And if you if you live within the United States and you order more than $45, because I will be 45 this year, you can get free shipping. So shopfitmuslimah.com. All of the supplements are halal and vegan. I know I'm saying the same thing, but just so for people to know, they're they're not capsulated in any animal gelatin. All of the supplements are halal and vegan. All right. Yes, you can get it if you live outside the United States. I'm not sure the list of countries by heart, but please go to Shop Fit Muslimah. And you have an amazing weekend. So I have an exciting weekend coming up. My son is getting married tomorrow. So we get a new family member. One more. You know what's so important about this particular wedding? We will outnumber the guys. Yay! So I had 3 sons and 1 daughter. And so me and my daughter were the minority for a very long time. But as everybody's getting older and getting married, and one of my sons just had a daughter, this will make the women outnumber the guys. Hey! So inshallah, tomorrow, I am going to be witnessing my family, alhamdulillah, extend and joined, and I am super excited. And of course, I get to dress up, so I'm excited about that too. But I'm excited because she is such a wonderful young lady, alhamdulillah. All right. You guys have a great weekend. Remember to do something that makes you sweat and eat your cooked leafy greens so that you can be healthy and reduce that sugar. Spend the weekend watching your sugar intake. Remember, no sugar for kids under 2. Women should not have more than 24 grams of sugar. Men should not have more than 36 grams of added sugar. Remember those numbers, 24 for women, 36 for men. All right? I will talk to you on Monday, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum.